Busting Indy Myths Part 10. We're going to address the oft-heard notion that we need independence so we can become a self-determining nation. That independence is about our right to self-determination. Well, this ignores the fact that Scotland already is a self-determining nation, and we are already a self-determining people. And we continue to self-determine to stay in the UK. Now, how do we know this? Well, firstly, what is the definition of self-determination? According to Chambers' 20th Century, it is, quote, the power of a population to decide its own government and political relations, or of an individual to live his own life, close quote. So on that definition, Scotland is already a self-determining nation, and the people of Scotland are already a self-determining people. How do we know this? Well, how do we exercise this self-determination? We, the electorate, exercise this self-determination. We exercise this power that we have over government and political relations at the ballot box. Now, we're always told by the Scottish nationalists that it is we, the people, who are the font of a nation's democratic sovereignty. It is we, the people, who exercise Scotland's self-determination when we vote. So, every time the electorate makes a choice at a general election, or a Holyrood election, or in a referendum, then we each participate in a collective act which is enabling Scotland, as represented by that portion of the electorate that bothers to vote, to self-determine our, quote, government and political relations in Scotland. That's what self-determination is in practice. It's us voting at elections. It's that simple. And so we are already a self-determining people. And the nation to which we belong is already a self-determining nation. We don't need to break away from the United Kingdom for us to be able to self-determine as individuals or as a collective nation. We do it every time we vote. And in the 2014 referendum, of course, we self-determined to stay in the UK. In 2017 and 2019, we self-determined at the ballot box, and we sent 59 MPs to Westminster to govern on behalf of us all and to administer Scotland within the UK. And in 2021, last year, we self-determined to elect candidates to Holyrood, again, to form the Parliament which administers Scotland within the UK. And on the 5th of May this year, just coming up at the council elections, we will, as a people in Scotland, self-determine to elect the new council chambers. So we already self-determine our future. Scotland is already a self-determining nation, and we are already a self-determining people, and we exercise that self-determination every time we go to the ballot box. It's that simple. Now, here's another interesting fact related to that. We in Scotland self-determine at the ballot box much more enthusiastically at the British rather than the Scottish level. And how do we know that? We know that because we simply have to look at the turnouts at successive Westminster elections and compare them to the turnouts at the Holyrood elections. And turnout at the British elections is consistently higher than at any of the Holyrood elections. And Scottish nationalists don't like to be told that. They don't like to be told that, in fact, when it does come to self-determination, we self-determine much more at the British level than at the Scottish level. And we've got a graphic that just explains that very neatly, which we'll put up there. Now, there you go. Westminster enjoys greater democratic legitimacy in Scotland as measured by percentage turnout than Holyrood. And look at the Westminster elections since 2005 to 2019. The average turnout is 66%. And look at the last 5 Holyrood elections. The average turnout is 54%. And so there you go, considerable difference. And look at that, in 2003, less than half of Scotland even bothered to turn out to vote at Holyrood, and the SNP have a cheek to talk about Scotland self-determining. Well, we need to self-determine more at these elections within the United Kingdom. So, yeah, okay. Now, of course, we know that when the Scottish nationalists speak about Scotland having the right to self-determination, they don't care about the fact that the people of Scotland already have self-determining ability at the ballot box. And they don't care that the Scottish electorate self-determines more with Westminster than it does with Holyrood. When they use the phrase self-determination for Scotland, what they really just mean is finding a way for the SNP to get its way all the time. That's really what they're talking about. They want to break the British connection entirely, and so they choose to ignore our facts, but they can't refute them.